had those. I had everything backed up on one, and I'm like, yep, it's so secure right now. No one's ever going to read it.
Completely safe.
Yeah, especially
Absolutely.
now
No
that
one is
nothing
ever going to
exists to
find
read
that
it.
Sailor Moon fan fiction. It is stuck there, unreadable.
I have zip drives and jazz drives for Media Dreams, was the first company I had doing multimedia stuff back in the 90s. And I don't know how I would get that stuff off. I would have to go find somebody with a working jazz drive and a working zip drive to get that off. And that's even if, after all these years, it hasn't descended into magnetic gobbledygook.
Exactly.
Well, one thing to clarify here, did you say Sailor Moon fanfic or Sailor Cooley fanfic? Because,
oh, no. This is Sailor Moon fan fiction. This was written many, many years before I even knew of the depravity of you two.
Wow. I don't know whether to be honored or offended that you included me in this cabal of two.
He said
it's okay,
Sailor
buddy.
Cooley.
You can be the sidekick.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, okay, you need to in that subset of magical girl adventures. Oh, geez, Rowdy. You have, I mean, your hero does have a cat familiar, so I mean, you're already starting out perfectly.
Define perfectly exactly.
I don't know, but Houdini took that cue and just walked right across.
Yeah, I know, it was the timing.
Excellent.
There will be no Sailor Cooley cosplay, at least not from me.
Well,
Terry
no,
is free to do whatever he likes.
Here's the thing: you can't do it as cosplay because you would be the original.
You are the original,
right? So if JR decides to do it, then that's cosplay. And considering it's Dragon Con weekend, I think it's a fantastic time for him to start.
There was a story about Charlie Chaplin entering a Charlie Chaplin lookalike contest in France,
losing,
and coming in third place.
Yep, I think that's happened to Dolly Parton. It happened to Adele for an impersonation bit. So there was that. It's interesting how people have an idea of somebody, and then when they meet them face to face, like, oh no, you're not that person. No, seriously, I am.
What? Who the hell is he talking about? Without his mustache, he looks like a totally different person.
Charlie Chaplin?
I guess. I missed something. Terry will be the cosplay at the next convention. If you go find him at any convention and you dress up as Terry Mixon, I think you win the internet for the day. We will take pictures of that shit, post it everywhere.
See, I'm not going to do the Sailor Cooley cosplay. I'm going to do the Vivienne Ferrari cosplay.
Okay, you could do that too, but I'm just thinking right now.
I'm Vivienne Ferrari.
This is a standing bit. If anyone ever goes to a convention and cosplay, like, I want like 6 people to show up, because I know Terry's going to be at Author Nation. So anybody who's going to Author Nation, if you all coordinate one day and cosplay as Terry and show up.
I don't even know what that would look like. I am kind of terrified to find out
what it would
look
like. Hi.
JR asks, who is Vivienne Ferrari? You're looking at her.
Yeah, the pseudonym for spicier things. It's not spelled that way. But yeah, that's so the algorithm doesn't put the
Smut Mistress
space opera
next to Veronica's name.
Yeah, they don't put the space opera with the Sex Kittens of the Apocalypse, because they're not always the same listenership.
Wow. What if they were?
I mean,
JR says, is that the pen name you use for Chuck Tingle alter ego?
So the writing pseudonym is different than the recording pseudonym. That is the recording pseudonym.
Chuck Tingle's recent panel thing he did was so funny. I don't know anything about that. Let's talk about that in After Dark.
Yeah.
His intro video for the stage was very funny, I've no doubt. We should probably get this show rolling. Howdy, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Dead Robot Society. I am Paul Lee Cooley. Joining me, as always, Veronica Jaguar and Mr. Terry Mixon. How the hell are you fine, folks? What have you been up to, and why do you not know my name?
Who are you again?
Why don't you start, V?
I am here. Let's see. I've been busy catching up on projects. I had pickups I had to do at the start of the week. I cannot keep certain names straight in my head. So I had a project that had 185 pickups, and the majority of them were on two names that I kept mispronouncing. So that was fun. The nice thing is that evidently by the third book that I'd recorded in that series, I had the pronunciations down. So that's always a good thing. And there were only like 37 pickups. So over an 8-hour book, I will take it.
Yeah, that's not bad at all, actually.
Yeah.
Wish I could do that.
It's good prep. It's good prep. And if I have the choice, if I can like tweak the script, I've started to use fonts that are dyslexic friendly. Not that I am or have those issues, but it's just easier for your eye to catch the font. And accessibility is awesome. And anything that can make my life easier while working, I am all for it.
I hear you.
Let's see. More writing. Slowly but surely. It's such a long time between shows. I think I'm sorry. It's like I don't remember like what happens from week to week. So yeah. We're bowling coaching. That was fun. I need to bring a chair because
Probably
a lot of the kids. So the team has 7th graders to 12th grade. Well, to 11th graders because I have no seniors this year. But the 7th grade boys, they haven't hit that growth spurt yet. So they're these little munchkins. And I'm usually like trying to see what they're doing on the lane and where they're stepping and throwing, which means I have to crouch down.
Right.
And after Thursday, my knees are killing me. And I'm like, I need like a camp stool or something because this is not going to work. So yeah. And then the best thing, yesterday I hosted a panel for the Professional Audiobook Narrators Association the audience was indie authors. And it was audiobooks, lots of different things, how to find narrators, production, distribution, questions about how to put together an audition. And hopefully it should be up on our website for replay by next week. Because since it was open to the public, it'll be available in front of the membership paywall so folks can see it again and review it. And it was good. It was a nice conversation and it was nice. It's always nice to chat with my colleagues on the narrator side of things and get to know them and see like how their process is, but also we like authors. And so it's like, how can we make your lives easier? So it was fun. That was it. So that's really been my week. A lot of just getting through, and I need ibuprofen for my knees because I am old.
JR asks, are there affordable subcontractors to do audio editing if authors wanted to narrate their own audiobooks, since we are talking audio?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there are plenty of folks that you can outsource your audio editing to. I outsource my audio editing. So it'd be the same process. And I'm happy to post those links in the live channel. So I can recommend the folks that I use. Affordable is
relative.
I use the people that I use because I want the product to sound good and I don't want to have to touch it afterwards. I should not have to follow behind somebody and re-listen. So there's that. But I am happy to put that link in live. So while I do that, Terry, aside from being lorded over by cats, how are you?
Yeah, writing is taking place. Story is moving along.
Yay.
My local chewing factory has killed one more keyboard.
Oh dear.
Bug just loves cables.
That's a problem. That's a big problem.
So I picked up something new to put across them here. We'll see how well this cover protector, anti-chewing protector works.
Okay. Yeah, you'll have to let me know on that one. He hasn't started on my keyboard cable, just everything else.
It's weird. It's only the keyboard cable. I don't understand. This cat has killed 2 keyboards, 2 expensive keyboards, but none of the other cables have been chewed on. I don't understand.
That is kind of bizarre.
So let's see. My wife's computer, that used to be my computer before I stole hers when it crashed. Mine crashed. They had come out a couple of weeks ago to get it working again. And they did succeed at getting it working again. Unfortunately, after they got it working again, the fans kept kicking into high gear. Started up and fans all rise to a high level and then come back down. And then just when you're doing stuff, they just kick back into high gear again. So that problem wasn't working out. So they came out yesterday to go ahead and, weirdly enough, replace all the fans and one of the 2 heat sinks and the power supply. Maybe they misunderstood and thought a fan is making noise. That was not what it was. But in the process of replacing all of that, now the new power supply makes a lot of noise. It is not quiet at all. And the problem is worse because now the computer starts blue screening and crashing a lot. So it is now on the downhill slope. So they've got a box out for us to send it back to them so that they can disassemble it in their shop and go, what the frick is going on here, and replace it.
I see you're using Windows. That's part of your problem.
That is indeed part of the problem. They've already looked at some of the crash stuff remotely and said, yeah, that sounds like Windows. But that doesn't explain all the hardware stuff. They're going to have to go through and figure out why the fans kick on. The guy that was out yesterday said that he believed it was possible that something was going on with the liquid cooling system. That if it wasn't getting the flow, that all the other fans may be linked to it and the heat on the central processor, and the fact that if something is going on there, it may be causing the fans to kick on. So
Gotcha.
They'll have to figure that out. It's above my pay grade. I paid a lot of money for these computer systems, and I paid to go ahead and have the service. So I will cheerfully send it to them and let them make it right.
Okay. Sounds good.
But it means still no cover for the blasted Empire book because she can't. She was testing it out to see if she could get the cover done before it did her in. And not only did she not get the cover done, but she apparently had managed to turn off her autosave, so all of the work she did over 6 hours was wasted.
Nice.
She was not pleased.
That's a lot of screaming.
Yeah, I didn't hear it from upstairs.
But it happened. Schrodinger scream. Yes, that totally. You may not have heard it.
That's about it for me.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, boy. Very quickly, in my world, nothing much. Got a little bit of writing done. Started Medusa Zone 2 for reasons. Still got to jump back in there and do a lot more, and had to watch a movie with a certain kind of boat so I could get an idea of what it looks like and what to do with it and all that kind of garbage. So now that I have that knowledge, it should be a little bit easier to continue on with it. So the plotter file got big enough where I just said, all right, screw it. We're going to Scrivener, and now we're going to play and figure out where it goes. So that's the plan there. Obviously, I'm not going to get that book done by the end of August. Probably not the end of September either. So I watched that deadline just kind of go that way. But I don't feel too
one
bad
more
about
day.
it
You could do it.
because Kill Shelter still isn't out, so I don't think it's a problem. So we'll see. So I'm waiting on that. And of course, there's been a lot of family stuff going on, as you might imagine. So there's going to be more of that fun and games over the weeks. We'll see how that shakes out. But I saw a video.
You saw a video? Was it a happy video?
I watched a video from Daniel Green.
Oh.
It was very much a follow-up to last week's discussion.
Oh, that
because a bunch of folks contacted him and other booktubers and that were bringing this up and said, how do you have proof of this? Well, one of the buddies that Daniel Green has, who's another author, had a book of short fiction or whatever that he wasn't interested in pimping at all or doing anything. He created the ebook for it. And then he went to Virtual Voice, Audible's thingy. Signed up for Virtual Voice through KDP, right? So now his book is going to be made for that. But he didn't finish the steps in order to put it there, for obvious reasons. Like he didn't want that to be associated with that. But here's what's interesting. Something popped up that I'm going to try and show here, if I can find it. There you go. Come on. All right, so this is a nice little screen that says, shows you basically how you use KDP Virtual Voice to create your audiobook from AI. I'm trying to look at this real quick. Shut up, Daniel. This is what caught his eye, and caught everybody's eye when I saw this. Authors receive a 40% royalty for a la carte ALC sales. 40% royalty. They get a 40% royalty off of an AI book.
Right.
Audiobooks created from ebooks and KDP Select are also included in Audible Plus's catalog and get their share of the KDP Select Global Fund.
Okay. So a la carte means, so folks are like, maybe you don't have an Audible subscription. I don't anymore. Maybe you never had. Good for you. So a la carte means that it's not part of the monthly credit you get. You buy it separately. And if you get your reports back, it's all called out. So you have like people who buy your stuff with a basic credit, people who buy stuff a la carte. And the 40% royalty is standard, but it used to be 50, now it's 40. And it's still crap.
And it'll be 30 before you turn around.
They already did that.
Because it's nothing but a robbery.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. So, but, sorry.
It's all right. So this is straight from Kindle's mouth, from Amazon's mouth. So this dovetails with what Audible's doing. And so it looks to me like the ultimate goal is what you thought it would be anyway, is to move everybody to AI narration. Then you'll automatically be an Audible Plus. You'll automatically be stealing royalties from other authors, and you'll be in good shape. Because
no, you won't. You'll be robbed blind. You won't be in good shape.
So, not only did that piss me off even more than it already was, this opens up a dual approach that I hadn't even thought that they were doing until they did this. So basically, they're trying to get at us through Audible, and they're trying to get at us through KDP. So they're going to rob both funds.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't believe it before, I'll leave the links to this video up there, and you can watch the video and talk to the author who went through the process.
Yep.
Listen to them.
I'm throwing the link to, so the video that Daniel watched, gentleman called John at Falstaff Books.
Falstaff Books.
He's an author. And so I went and watched that video, and I was watching it while I was at the gym on the treadmill, and people were probably wondering why I was so mad at walking. But I was just like, I was muttering to myself, like, while doing this. And it's, one, this is shit. And two, this is an author who like straight up explains, like echoes what we've said. Why in the world would you use a synthetic voice when you're investing time and effort to create this, amazing story? You're going to invest in a good cover. You're going to invest in good editing. You're going to make sure it looks nice on the virtual page. And then you're going to screw it all up with a virtual voice? Really? Really? No.
Hope not.
Better not. I will be very disappointed.
That's her disappointed look.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
That's her disappointed look. Oh, I've seen her disappointed look. I've caused the disappointed look before. I know all about this. Yeah,
You're not looking, Paul. You need to look. You need to look.
No,
at that face.
because it's scary. You've heard about Medusa. It turns people to stone. Stop that shit. I can feel you looking at me. Cut it out. Just cut it out.
Medusa was going about this all wrong. If she wanted to turn them to stone, it shouldn't have been her face. It should have been her boobs.
Okay, we're really going to get in this discussion. There was the question about she was covered snakes everywhere. So the question was, what other portions of her anatomy were made of snakes? Is it like body hair? Does it grow everywhere? Or, just, we're going to let that horror sit with you for a while.
I put nothing past the Greeks. I put nothing past them. I mean, nope, this would predate that guy. So
I know it isn't after dark, but I had to go there.
So evil stares that turn one to stone aside, and disappointment at using crummy narration for your amazing written work.
I'm just disappointed.
Disappointed, yeah, exactly. So this brings up the interesting question that we were stumbling over last week a little bit, which is, what do you do? What are we going to do? Mm-hmm. As independent authors? The place we hung out with was Audible and KDP. That made us in a lot of ways. That brought us a lot of income over the years. And now that gravy train is coming to a very vicious halt in the near future, by the looks of this. So what do you do? Well, we've talked about all sorts of resources. People have mentioned BookFunnel for getting your PR stuff done. We've mentioned Authors Republic, and there's a couple of other ones for independent audiobook deals. And granted, you get a lower royalty at Amazon, but you get a higher royalty at other places, and then you also get to put it on your own storefront if you want. So there's a lot of benefits from that standpoint, but it means that you've got to market and you've got to get familiar with these tools. Time to go wide. Yep, spread them.
Yep.
You heard me. Spread them.
But that's exactly right. You can't. Amazon, so KU, and Audible, and that's the thing. KDP is what authors see. KU is what readers see. And so if you're trying to explain this to readers, well, why isn't your stuff on Kindle Unlimited anymore? This is why. Because, it's not making money. It's not tenable.
Terry Irvin says the goal is to get authors into the streaming program.
Yes.
The route is to remove incentive for remaining in the royalties based on credit sales by siphoning off royalties to the streaming program, currently excluding them. Yes. That is correct. And Audible will eventually open the opportunity to join after credit royalties have been severely diluted through the siphoning. That is correct.
Yep.
Yeah, and then from there, at a time, Audible will begin reducing the payments per listen. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I have no doubt that is how they're going to do that.
Yeah,
and that they're already doing it.
Yeah.
So,
and the trade-off is that, so yeah, you need visibility and you need accessibility, or an easy way for people to buy stuff.
Yeah.
Because the vast majority of readers and listeners are not tech savvy. They don't know or necessarily want to know how to get your story in whatever file format they need for whatever device they're using. And they want it to be convenient. And KU is convenient.
Oh, yeah.
Audible is convenient. But the trade-off is that you get no return on it. Visibility, sure, you get exposure, but as every artist should know, exposure kills.
Pretty much. I'm trying to grab. Okay, I don't have it up. I have to look for that. Sorry. Let's see. AI voices capitalize on their voices, which will eventually be charged for either payment or a greater cut from royalties. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Audible is basically paying themselves out of your pocket, and so is KDP.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically how it works. Is they're paying themselves for you having the luxury of using their platform. So you're paying them to basically be on their platform. That's what this has come to. So where do you go? Where do you go? Well, you got to go everywhere.
Yep.
So first off, you got to realize that if you're going to jump out of the KDP pool, that takes about 3 months to get out per book. Mm-hmm. And after that time, then you will no longer be in the pool, and so you'll only make money when people buy it. However, that's really no different from the other bazillion bookstores that you can get into. If I can show that. There we go. I'm going to share this real quick. If I can find it. Here we go. All right. So this is a little screenshot I took from Draft to Digital. You'll see that it says published. Look at all the places it's published from this one distribution point.
Mm-hmm.
That pretty much covers everybody.
Yep.
As far as the books go. So that gets you into Apple Books, it gets you into Barnes & Noble, it gets you into Overdrive for libraries.
Yep.
It gets you into just pretty much everything. And then you have essentially a book page that they give you that you can share to people, or you can basically create a new landing page for it on BookFunnel or your blog or wherever you want to go. And then people can go directly to your book, which is nice. Let's see, did it come up? No, it didn't. All right. So basically, this is what this looks like. You can even do audiobooks from here, mm-hmm. if you want to. I don't have an experience with their print or using their audiobook stuff. Draft to Digital is the site, Xander. So I don't have any ideas about that or any knowledge of those. Somebody probably does, but not me. But they do put the ebook up here. And once you have it in that setup, you can basically send it out everywhere. The only problem is if you decide, ooh, I made a huge mistake, I want to go back to KDP, it's going to take probably about 6 months to get out of these because there's so many of them and some of them are really slow at ditching titles. Yep. So you need to be aware that there are some logistics that there are some landmines you need to know about. In case you decide that, oh, this isn't for me, this isn't working, it's too hard, then you want to go back. Maybe you should try with just a couple of titles before you put your entire bibliography over there wide, just to dip your toes in and see about the marketing. So that's this. And I don't have the freaking, oh yeah, I do. I have Audible. I have Authors Republic right here. Yeah, let's switch that. Hang on one second. And this is what Authors Republic looks like. So you just basically are uploading audiobooks the same way you would do with Audible. You go through a process of setting them up. They have to ultimately get through a verification process to go out, and they got to match and follow the same kind of format as Audible files do. They're not exactly exactly the same, but they're close enough to work, at least in my humble experience, my humble opinion. So I've got these books up there. I could have all my books up there before it's over with. But this puts it in all sorts of crazy places, like pretty much everywhere that you want it to go. And just don't do Audible from here. Just like you don't do Amazon from Drafted Digital. You have to, if you want to make the most money, you set those accounts up separately, so they're on their own hoof. Drafted Digital makes pretty decent POD books in my experience. Okay, Tim. And you don't need a PDF of the cover for D2D print. Gotcha. Okay, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
So Authors Republic, that's the one I've got familiarity with. You've got familiarity with Happy Family.
I have some. I haven't used them. It's one that I recommend.
Okay.
But Authors Republic is one that a lot of narrators recommend. There are a few others that have distribution. Audiobook Empire recently did that. They do a lot of royalty share stuff. Mm-hmm. So you can work with them, and they have some small press audiobook publishers. You can find a narrator. You and the narrator can go to them, and that small press publisher will help with production. They may help with promotion. Mm-hmm. They may have their own listening team and a street team to provide reviews and to share on social media. It's an additional package, but it's something that you can do if you need help. Because one of the great things about being an indie and one of the challenging things about being an indie is you have to learn how to do all of these things, or you have to be able to outsource it.
Yep. You don't get around it.
Yeah. Now, from the panel that I did yesterday, I have a link to one of the guides that one of our panelists shared, Paige Reisenfeld. And she's lovely. She and her partner do co-narration because he's also an audiobook narrator. But she's very business savvy, and she's constantly updating her guide with stuff about distribution, how to go wide. And I think it's important to be informed, and it's not like we're saying every book has to be an audio. No. But you may get to a point where you decide, the print has gotten enough traction, and this is a logical next business step. That guide can be helpful.
Yeah. You're just going to have to figure out and dip your toes in. You could set your books up and not publish them. You could have go through the process of setting them up in each of these places, see the ins and outs, read the T's and C's, get comfortable with what you're looking at, and have some idea of what to expect, going forward from there. Antoine mentioned that he started using Libro FM because of V. So I think it was Antoine.
Yeah, way up. Scroll way up in the chat.
Okay, so there's hope in both areas. It just means we're going to have to work a lot harder. So with BookFunnel, for instance, if you guys haven't used that, you get to create. Where is it? You get to basically create like landing pages for your book. Like that's the landing page for the free book that I give out. So if somebody comes in and you missed the part of the show, we can send you a video, Tim. So basically, you could have a landing page for multiple books, multiple series, multiple whatever, and you can basically leave these around. You can use them on your email list, and actually, when people do this, they can essentially sign up for your email address immediately. So that's another way to grow and get the free stuff out there. Terry, did you use BigFunnel when you were doing your own stuff?
No, I did not.
Okay. BookFunnel's got a lot of ideas on how to market as far as getting retailer URLs or sharing URLs. You can share promos with people. You can share ebooks with people. Cross promotion. I haven't done any of this garbage because I hate it.
You've been busy.
Yeah, that
There's
too.
there's
That too.
it's a lot.
It is a lot. So I've got an ancient trap up, and it hasn't sold hardly anything at all. But I haven't marketed it. Nobody knows it's there. So that's got to be the point when I get back from vacation, is basically starting to do that. Go forward as far as starting to market and get everything else into BookFunnel and out of KDP Select. And what's funny about this is, I already pulled the black out of KDP Select, and it's actually going through the process of getting out everywhere. For some reason, Apple Books is being a bitch about the file, so I'm having to fix the formatting for them. But that notwithstanding, it's not too bad of an experience to go through these things. It's a pain in the ass because it means you have yet another place that you've got to go to check reports, to do any tweaks. It means if you've got a separate Amazon account and something changes on the ebook, you have to go change it in two places. What could go wrong? Possibly go wrong. So essentially, you're going to be playing a game of convenience versus money, is what it comes down to, and how you manage it. So those are things I think you need to think about before you make this plunge.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Xander, there already is a link. Oh, you put them in there. Okay. They're both in
Awesome.
line. All right. Live. Thank you. Excellent. Who did that?
Yeah.
Oh, Xander did it. Thank you, Xander. So, any particular questions from chat that we can't possibly answer? Or
We can
anything else we
attempt.
can show you?
They might not be the right answers, but we can attempt.
I know it's a lot of information to try and wrap your head around, especially if you've never thought about going wide and never seen what these other applications look like. You shouldn't be afraid of them. They'll walk you through what they need to do. Some of them look barbarous, and some of them look really good. So it's a different animal, but don't be afraid. Antoine says Amazon used to be able to say it was providing capital for their share of the writer's profit. Now not so much. They're exhibiting rent-seeking behavior. That is correct.
Says The Economist. Nicely done, sir.
That is correct.
Yeah. Okay, James, if you were to release your first book as an indie author, who would you choose? So truly, if I do not need to make immediate money on it, and I can take the long tail, truly, what I would do, James, is I would start with a Patreon. I would start by setting up my own Patreon and almost using that as a storefront to begin, because I have to set up everything there anyway. And then once that's set up and I tell people where it is, then do it on my own website. And yeah, it's another store I have to run, but I'm going to keep the money from stuff that I sell on my own website. Is there a learning curve? Absolutely. But no, James, I don't have a Patreon yet. This is currently like the most hellish 2.5 months of the year for me. So I'm lucky that, I'm showered and wearing makeup and pants, okay, on the weekend. Just give me some credit for being present and forming coherent sentences at this point. And yes, I am working on it. I am recording stuff for it. It's just, it is what it is. Anyway, but I would start small for my own make my own little fiefdom first, my own little kingdom with my website and a Patreon. And then once I have those properties made, then I start figuring out how to put them other places, because from the Patreon and from my website, I'm getting most of the money. I get the best cut there, and I can set the prices.
In addition to that, I'd say you go ahead and pay for BookFunnel, put stuff up there, and start cross promoting with some other folks who are in your same genre.
Absolutely. Yeah.
BookFunnel's not cheap. I mean, it's like $150 a year or something like that. But if you use all the tools, I think it's more than worth its weight in gold. And I haven't been using the tools, and I still pay for it. So I got to get off my ass and start doing that.
Well, and that's the thing. If you're maintaining a mailing list, Terry's amazing mailing list. How many people do you have on your mailing list these days, Terry?
It's as soon as I stopped publishing my own stuff, it stopped growing. Amazing how that worked.
Yep.
Damn.
That's because the links to it aren't in the books that are published through Variant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've mentioned...
But the reason I ask is because I have other authors who I've done work for, and they use BookFunnel along with their newsletters to deliver content. And so it's a good pairing.
Some of y'all have asked me about PayHip. So this is my store on PayHip. So I've got trade paperbacks. I've got the complete audiobook collection for Derelict, which is not available anywhere but on my store right now. The audiobooks for, all the other ones. So these are all things that I have on my store, and it looks weird because it's zoomed in so far. But it's pretty easy to put together a store. You just have your, list of products and everything else. You price them out, and you just kind of go all the way down. And it's not really difficult. So I think PayHip is a good one to use because it's pretty no nonsense. You don't have to worry about a lot of security garbage and everything else, and it's a known quantity. And it works with PayPal. It works with Stripe. It works with all these different things. So it'll be easy, and I get paid every month from PayHip. I get money from them and Stripe every single month, and I haven't done any real, marketing or anything, and I'm still getting paid for stuff. So let's see. Will this Audible move kill royalty share audiobooks? Yes, it will.
It will make it harder for people to do. So because what ACX manages to do with Royalty Share and Royalty Share Plus, they handle the accounting.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we get shafted on it, but they send half of the royalties to the narrator and half to the author. Now, I have agreements with a couple of authors that I work with, and they track the royalties, and I get paid quarterly. They send me a quarterly payment, and they send a report. Now, granted, I've got to trust them, and it's not something I'm going to enter into someone. I'm not going to enter into that with someone who I don't trust to either, manage money, have good accounting, etc. That's why I have a very limited pool for that. But I think that's the most difficult part. If you can track the money and you make sure that folks get paid, you can do royalty share. It's just
true.
What's the vehicle behind it?
I wouldn't use ACX for anything as far as as getting together with the narrator. Fuck them.
No,
it's just
the best. Right now, the best solution that I have with some clients is they have a tier. They have a specific tier on their Patreon, or they have certain stuff that is bought on the Patreon, and I've partnered with them. And then every month or every 3 months, they track those things that sell, and I get a cut.
Let's see, not to be a Debbie Downer, but I do think that AI audio narration is going to get scary good over the next 10 years, probably, with a whole cast of voices, accents, etc., which sucks but not improbable.
So here's the interesting thing. Good acting is not about speaking. I'm paraphrasing stuff that came from the panel yesterday because our panelists were just like badass. They were great. And one of them pointed out that with acting, it's not about saying the words. You have to listen to the words that are being said and react accordingly. And the reaction is not something you can program. And the subtext that is there is not, it's not just in the adverbs that are around, the dialogue pieces. It's the context as you go through the chapter. It's knowing the character and the progression there, especially like switching POVs. I mean, there's a lot more there. And could you go in and program everything and kind of tweak it? Sure. But at that point, why not just use a human?
Now, here's what's interesting in one of the videos. The guy went through the whole process, and then it said basically that you could have your AI narration done, and then you could go correct it. I have no idea what that looks like. You could go make changes to the narrated AI book. I don't know what that does.
Maybe it means that you can say, no, this word isn't being pronounced correctly.
I think that would have to be it, or to change the change the context or subtext or the tone, like she was saying, or the emotion mixed with it. I don't know.
Yep. But here's the thing. Okay, say that, but sound disgusted with the person.
Yeah.
Say that, but sound disappointed in the person. Say that, but sound disappointed in yourself. Say that and sound ill and angry. I mean, there's a whole nuance of emotion that it's, and that's the thing. Those tones, that's different for everybody. My anger and disappointment is going to sound totally different from Paul's and Terry's, because it's going to be based on the age of the character. It's going to be based on the life experience of the character. I understand, engineer brain. I understand the comments in chat about, oh yeah, it is statistics. Yeah, you could mathematically do it. But as some of us narrators are fond of saying, AI can't cry. And good acting is found in the tension. It's not, no one's ever impressed by someone breaking down into tears and sobbing. That's annoying as hell. What's better is trying not to cry or trying not to be mad, being on the very edge of it. That's where the acting comes in. That's where the tension is. That's where the story is. There's a cat.
Somebody's getting the love.
I apologize.
Buzz.
The child came in and demanded attention. AI might be better for nonfiction than fiction.
No. So, listening comprehension. Sure, nonfiction may be dry, but the level of understanding that is required, you have to perform it so someone gets it, so someone is engaged and can understand everything. Somebody can read the same passage in a flat tone and not learn or not understand it as well if someone reads that same nonfic passage with intent and emotion.
I'll buy that.
I have a coach who has done probably I think he's done over 1,000 audiobooks and is regarded as like the be all and end all of nonfiction narration. And yeah, he could talk for hours about that. I'll just say, no, you need to act. And having narrated nonfiction, you need to act it in order to help people understand and also to be engaged for yourself.
Yeah, otherwise it would get terribly boring.
And then why listen at all?
Yeah.
One of the things that I'd like to talk about is something that we haven't talked about with this particular subject. And I think it's important to at least broach the subject. With all of the doom and gloom about what they're doing, we need to keep in mind that them trying to ratchet down and lock everything up so that they get every single penny they can get out of everything also means that they are opening themselves up to a very deep-pocketed company / investor / somewhere else starting up something that we can't even envision right now.
That is
to
correct.
Come in and try to steal all of the sellers, not just authors, the sellers with Amazon, the authors, the people that are the producers for the various segments of Amazon, and lure them away to a brand new competing platform that they are going to whip up with whatever funds they have from capital ventures. Not to say that they would end up any better, but by doing this, Amazon is making themselves a target, and companies that do this do not survive. This is not a sign of strength from Amazon. This is a sign
of desperation.
This is a sign of desperation. And the day when something comes along down the pike that we can't foresee at this particular moment is already coming. Somebody out there with deep pockets is already plotting the downfall of Amazon. Jeff Bezos said when he founded Amazon that companies last 20 years and then they're gone. Most companies. And he's not wrong. He got out of the company 5 years ago, and he didn't get out because he thought that things were rosy and peachy. He got out because he could see the writing on the wall, that something in the Amazon culture was bad and getting worse. So, yes, we need to be somewhat doom and gloom about where we're at. But don't forget to keep looking at the horizon for what comes next, because it will be coming.
Yeah, stay plugged in and keep your ear to the ground. We talk about what we hear about on this podcast, but obviously we don't hear all the news because we're not completely plugged in everywhere, which is what's kind of cool about somebody like Daniel Green, because he's plugged into both worlds. He's plugged into the indie world as well as the traditionally published world, so he hears all the news. So that's why he's kind of a good place to go to. And I'm sure there are other booktubers that do exactly the same thing. I just don't know who they are and haven't spent the time to go look. But the Coca-Cola, IBM, Airbus, Boeing are all over 100 years old. Yes, and let's look at their market share now.
Yep. And do we not remember what happened with the new Coke?
Let's also look at how many companies did not survive.
Yeah. How many companies did not survive?
Mm-hmm. So is it possible that Amazon will survive? Sure, it's possible. But they're not going to be the gorilla giant that they are now. Someone is going to come and knock them off their pedestal, because that's just the way it works. Where's our economist? Why am I telling this? Where's our economist?
Where's Antoine?
Antoine, tell us.
Get back from your break.
Get back from your bio break and tell us all about this.
We're going to have him come on the show to explain exactly how late-stage capitalism is a failure.
See, now that's something there that, let's go ahead and look at this here. Amazon will because of AWS. They will survive because of AWS. But as a selling entity, they may not. They may find themselves knocked out of the commercial side of this. And if they get too froggy, the federal government may decide that their AWS holdings need to be split away from all of their commercial holdings, and then they die. Mm-hmm. Everything except AWS would die.
No, because what Antoine just said, right there, that's why AWS is going to die. You already have a huge movement to get people back in data centers owned, because cloud has gotten so goddamn expensive. Mm-hmm. So the real question is, how long is it going to be before people start ratcheting up their old VMware or whatever it was, their hypervisors, and start doing stuff in that server room that hasn't been used in 7 years, because they realize that they can afford to hire people and get the machines they need, and it'll still cost less money than dealing with Amazon. It's going to happen. it just continues to happen. A lot of us have been in this game long enough in the tech side to see these things just spiral and spiral and spiral, and it happens even faster there than it does anywhere else. So as quickly as the cloud came up is as quickly as it can just die.
So what I want to say, just to put this in perspective, is I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I have no knowledge. I am not a great prognosticator. The one thing that I can prognosticate is that the situation as it is right now will not prevail. Market forces will come in and they will hash everything that we think is going on, and the future will be different than what the doom and gloom we are foreseeing may be the weak point where Amazon gets caught with its shorts down around its ankles.
I hope so.
Yeah. And the folks who are coming into leadership positions and decision-making positions, you have a generation of folks coming into boardrooms who have grown up with this technology. So folks have previous generations, I'm not a tech person. I don't need to understand this. That happens less and less with newer generations. And so people are more aware of the effects. They're more aware of how pervasive some stuff is, and they don't like it.
See, James says, I'm one of the only people I know who thinks the world today is not as bad as everyone thinks it is.
No, it's much worse.
Bloody you. Lucky bloody you. I'm glad that you're in that space, bro. I am not in that space at all. But for me, nothing really changes. It just means I got to get off my ass and do more marketing, which I needed to do anyway, regardless of what Amazon was doing. Mm-hmm. It means I got to work on my email list, which is something I should have been doing even if Amazon was behaving itself. There's all these things I got to do now that I haven't been doing because I didn't need to, and now I do. So regardless of what Audible does or what KDP does or anything else, bottom line is me personally got to grow up and start doing the stuff that needs to be done for the business to try and get new readers as much as possible and compete for headspace in the market.
Mm-hmm. And that's wait a minute.
What it's going to take.
Hey, wait a minute. Let's bring that up. The 80s was the best time ever. What are you talking about, man?
God damn it.
80s was 40 years ago. Cherry, this hurts. My brain hurts.
My God.
How could you say that about the 80s, man?
I mean, look,
hair bands, man.
He said globally. He said It was terrible. Yes, it was.
I mean, the market for shoulder pads has drastically dipped.
So did parachute pants. What is your point?
And Saturday morning cartoons. All of the advertising potential.
Oh,
gone.
All these, yeah. And all the breakfast cereals. Holy crap. I don't think the 80s were better. They were better in some cases, but not in others. But things have definitely gotten worse in a lot of respects. But you have to be aware of what's going on. You're not in this country, so things are a little different for you right now.
Yeah, I'm with Rowdy. I spent most of the 80s in the Army, so yeah, I feel the same way.
I spent most of the 80s in elementary school.
Yeah, you young girls. I mean, really.
And then Xander here said, I didn't even exist in the 80s, so.
Sounds like a personal problem.
I mean, right.
Only existed in a world where every few years there's another economic crisis, some natural catastrophe, and national tragedies on a weekly basis. That's been that way since I've been alive.
We just keep adding verses to that Billy Joel song.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much.
Born in 90. Well, we should probably bring this to a close. Sorry we did all this doom and gloom, but if you have a comment or question about this episode, you can send an email to show@deadrobotsociety.com, or you can visit our website at deadrobotsociety.com and punch that contact button and send it to us. You can join our Discord. See the link in the show notes and come say hi. We'd love to have you in our community of crazies. And if you want to, and you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/DRS podcast, where we are live every Saturday, except when we're not, at 3 p.m. CST. Like and subscribe so you know when we're live. And if you want to support the show, you can find us at patreon.com/DRS podcast and buymeacoffee.com/DRS podcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive content like the live show that's coming up in just about 10 minutes. And if you donate at the $10 level, you get your name read. And our $10 patrons are Juan Valentin, James Terrell, Antoine Batts, Tony L. Joy, Rick Shaw, Lisa Slack, and Tim Niederreiter. Thank you to all of our patrons for making this show possible.
And just as something for Antoine to look forward to for After Dark, we're discussing naked economics.
Naked economics.
Make of it as you will.
And I just tried to visualize an economist orgy, and I just can't do it. There's like 10 key pads everywhere.
No.
With Astroglide
What
on
percentage
them,
would you say that is?
I mean, think of the dividends.
I'm ending the show now.
There we go. There's his answer.
My nipples just spiced up. All right, folks. Have a great freaking weekend. A great Labor Day. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.